Morning, welcome back. Welcome to Allotment. It's the 30th of March 2025 and it's 9:30 in the morning. Really only 8:30 because, as you know, the clocks went forward last night. Just making a cup of coffee. Well, I was having a think last night and I thought, right, okay, so we had a good run yesterday, a good 4 hours, and we've got that polytunnel secure again now, for now. There's no cover on it, so technically we shouldn't get any more damage to it. So, excuse me, I decided today, being the last week end of March, I always aim to try and get my potatoes in for the last weekend of March. Now, I'm not going to get them all in, but I've decided what I'm going to do today, while the weather is at least half decent, is to get some stuff planted. So at least that's in, and then it's done, isn't it? So I've got a couple of beds to weed and some compost to add and one thing and another. And then we're going to get some potatoes planted, some onions, and, well, we'll just see what else. I went to the garden centre yesterday afternoon after we got back with the dogs, and I've got some cauliflowers, cabbage, leeks, calabrese, and some tomato plants. So I'm possibly going to sow a couple of tomato seeds as well, because it's not too late yet. I just want reassurance, so I went and got myself a few early plants to get me started. I can take suckers off the tomato plants that I have bought, and I'll propagate more from them. I just got a few. And, well, we'll just see how it goes and whether the weather holds out and lets me get anything done at all. I'll have this cup of coffee and I'll catch you up in a minute. Right, we've made a start. Slight change of plan. I came down to this bottom polytunnel, which is the very first one I ever put up. It's been, as I say, it's been up about 10 years now. And it's stood through every gale we've ever had. This is the one that First Tunnel sponsored the plastic for me last year or the year before. And it's been absolutely fantastic. Me and Tony put it on. We've done the job right, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I'll spin you around and I'll show you what I've done in here. Right, so spinning you around, you'll see in here about 4 or 5 weeks ago we put the cleaning out from the chickens in here. So this is a mixture of lots of nitrogen, chicken manure, and wood chips. So you've got your good nitrogen and carbon all mixed together. And we put a good thick layer right through this bed here. And we just left it. I watered it in and we've just left it. But now what I've done is, you'll see I've cleared out the polytunnel as well, obviously. I've now put 3 bags of compost on this side as well. And then I've walked it in and firmed it right down. If you firm this down, you can't compress it because it's just compost that's built up over the years. But the other thing is, if you firm it down, it helps to prevent any weeds coming through. Now, thankfully in here, I've never had much of a problem with weeds. I get a little few coming up the sides there. But in the beds themselves, very few. And this was done with just cardboard on grass over the top of weeds, and just gradually built up over the years with compost. Up here, you'll see on my bench, and if you want to see how I made this lovely lightweight fold-away bench, just look back on the videos. If I think on, I'll put your link up in the top corner here. But basically, this is my fold-away bench, and these are the few tomato plants that I went to the garden centre for. We've got some Alicante, and we've got some Shirleys, and from those we'll just propagate suckers. In here, I have some calabrese, and I'm just looking at the price of these. I think I'll be stopping going to the garden centre shortly because they've gone up £1 a tray in 1 year for 6 plants, 8 plants. Yeah. I've got some little cost lettuce because I was late at getting the lettuce away. I've got some leeks, so they're already at a good point. The cauliflowers, we got these last year, Orkney cauliflowers, and they were really, really good. So I've got another 8 of those as well. I think some cells might have two. No, they haven't. They've only got the one in each. So some of these will be getting planted. The lettuces will be getting planted in here. Possibly the calabrese might get planted in here as well. It just helps to protect them. And I grew cauliflowers in here last year, and although you didn't see any of this, they were fantastic in these beds. In spite of it being really warm in here, the cabbages and the cauliflowers really fared well. I haven't tried the broccoli in here, but I have tried cauliflowers and cabbages in here, and they all turned out really, really good. So I'm probably going to get some plants in here now, especially the lettuces. Right, so it really doesn't get any easier than that. There we have 8 lettuces in. There's our food production started. Thinking about this while I was planting these, there's 8 plants there that cost me £4.50 because I didn't grow them from seed. Even if these all reach full maturity, if you think about it, a lettuce is like 50 pence a piece. So there's 4, I'm actually paying 50 pence more. Oh, no, yeah, £1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm paying 50 pence more for lettuces than I would if I just go and buy them at the supermarket. There's a difference. These will be organic. They won't have all sorts of additives and all the rest of it. But it really does pay now more than ever because of the cost of compost and the cost of seedlings to actually grow your own from seed. Right, don't be an Allen and put all your eggs in one basket. I do tend to plant my tomatoes at this time of year in the greenhouse. This is quite a warm polytunnel, and with the automatic window that I put in, it does seem to regulate itself pretty good, and it does close up if we get a frost. However, that's a gamble I'm willing to take. So I've now also set my tomato plants in. So here I have 2 Shirleys, and then the other 4 are Alicante. And we'll just take suckers off these as we go, and we'll propagate them. And what you'll see is I've got the lettuce at the front, which won't hinder the tomatoes at the back, and down the centre we'll put some white onions in there. Right, done. And here you'll see we have a row of snowball onions in. 1 or 2 of them have just started to germinate. There's only 1 or 2 in the packet though, but the rest were fine. So these are the ones we've put in down the centre. Snowball onion sets. Got these 1 year before. They don't grow massive, but they are very, very, very nice. So we now have tomatoes, onions and lettuce all on the way. We just need the weather to be kind to us now and see how it goes. The lettuce will be fine. The onions should be fine. Well, the tomatoes, we'll wait and see. Right, welcome back. So I've decided what I'm going to do, where this polytunnel is, that we're going to resurrect. It's going to take me a little while to do that. So I was going to plant some potatoes in that bed with the netting around it. These cockerels, they're a nuisance when you're trying to record. I was going to plant some potatoes in that one, but I've decided I'll keep that for the brassicas because it's ready made. And I thought, what can I do? So I decided these beds in the polytunnel will just otherwise go to waste. So I've decided to make a start down the middle stretch because I will need at the sides and at least get some early potatoes into the middle bed. I'll just spin you around and show you what I've done. So you'll see what I've done here. Right up this entire area, I've cleared this bed down of all of the old cabbages and we've given them to the chickens. As you see, there's quite a number in here. Now the chard I'll probably leave in these end beds because it's still good and it'll just keep coming. But I've cleared this bed down completely and I've just given it a scratch over. Took the weeds out and gave it a scratch over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant these Sharps Express first earlies into here. You wouldn't believe it. All the way to the end, and we're one short. I thought I counted them right. Anyway, it's still quite a number of potatoes in here. So it's 2, 3. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29 potatoes in here. And I'll sleep a little bit better tonight knowing I've got another set of potatoes on the go. Now, if we do get, I am conscious we're in April now, and I am conscious that we can still get frosts. But hopefully they won't be up when that happens. And if they do, then I can always throw a bit of anything over. I can throw a bit of this over it. I can just, at the night time, I can just unroll that and throw it over the top just to protect them from the frost. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Right, so the sharp-eyed amongst you will have noticed Alan didn't add any cow manure or compost or anything to this bed before he planted his potatoes. But there's a good reason. Last year, all of these beds had multiple dressings of chicken manure, farmyard manure and compost. These beds were also rotivated, and it was all mixed in together. And they've had very little grew in these. So what you're seeing was in here was a couple of overwintering cabbages that basically was turning to seed like these. And these were left deliberately for the chickens at this time of year when there's pretty much little else greenery-wise for them. We didn't plan on the polytunnel coming down or being destroyed, but there we go. These things happen. What do? Don't cry about it. Pick yourself up, dust yourself down, crack on and start again. And that's exactly what we've done. And now, just by doing that, I've got another crop in the ground, and that will give me an incentive to do these. So for now, that's a great jobbed. And I'm happy chappy. Right, sorry about all the huffing, puffing and blowing on the video. It might be a little bit off-putting for some people, but I do still get really short of breath. And doing any little amount of work really does take its toll on me. So sometimes in my eagerness to show you what I've done, usually right after what I have done, I tend to be a little out of breath when I'm narrating. So you'll have to excuse me for that. So that's a good start. It's now 10 to 12, so that shows you how long it took me just to do that. Okay, I can only do a little bit at a time now, and I just I've accepted it. It is what it is. I can only do a little bit at a time. Now, I'm already tired, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything else. But if I do, then, well, we'll either save it for another day, or we'll show you it on the end of this one. However, just in case we don't do that, I'm going to say, for now, thank you very much for popping along. Thanks for all your likes, comments, subscriptions, suggestions, and your donations. It really does make a massive difference. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.